All right. Hello, hello. Good morning. Happy Monday. If you refrained from watching my introduction video, we're going to start back up here in part 5 of Nehemiah. And we have this lovely quote that we'll just get right into. Assuming it's Francis Bacon, I didn't write it down, but that's what all our quotes have been lately. It says here, to choose time is to save time. Okay, so I was kind of racking my brain after I finished the transcription and assigned the quote. I was racking my brain trying to discover how this related and what even is time. how do I talk about time? And as I assigned the quote, it did give me the urge to save time and to stop what I was transcribing and to leave a little part of Nehemiah for tomorrow. Even though it was about 2 short paragraphs, two-ish chapters that I could have added on to this one, after reading the quote, I'm like, let me save time and let me cut it in half so we wouldn't be going over this longer than we needed to. Although it's a lot of details included, there are a lot of details included in this section here. But thinking again about the quote, what is time? You've heard, time is limited, right? Money, okay? So thinking about time like that, we really see time as a physical resource. A physical resource. So just thinking about that for a short second, how is it a physical resource versus a metaphysical resource, a metaphysical resource, and how is it even a resource? But thinking of it like time is valuable, right? It's limited. We only are allocated just so much of it in a day, so much of it in a week, so much of it in a month, okay? It's measured. It's a unit of measurement, really. But we can also sense the physicality of it in the sense that time can be seen, okay? We have our clocks. We can look up at the sky and gauge what time of day it is. It can be seen. Can even be heard by what sounds the animals are making outside, the roosters, your alarm clock, okay? It can be heard. It can be smelled, perhaps, around dinner time or lunchtime. You may smell that time, lunchtime or dinner time, okay? And it can be felt. Some days it just feels very early in the morning, or some days it feels like you've had a very long day. It feels like 8 o'clock. Really, it might only be 4, but you can feel a sense of time as it wears on you throughout the day. With that being said, it's also energetically related. Okay, so with that, we're thinking of time as a resource. We're thinking of time as a resource, and what does it mean to choose time? Really, that means to plan. That means to plan. So in this chapter here, we do have quite a bit of planning because the Israelites, as a people, have been through a lot. Okay, so they're planning and they're allocating their resources as needed. Okay, as absolutely needed. They're making hard decisions, so they're choosing and picking and planning. And think of like when you time something, you're timing and tracking and planning. So that's how it actually well relates to this chapter, these few segments here. So we're going to go ahead and start out with chapter 9, Nehemiah part 5. And also, just because we finished last week, I'll just kind of review what we were talking about, right? They just kind of wrapped up all their building. We had Ezra come in, we had some of the high priests of the Levites come in and regather everybody. They kind of had a coming to Jesus moment, even though Jesus has not yet been in existence in this sense. But they did have a coming to Jesus moment. Okay, and they experienced celebration and ecstatic and joy, but they're also under great distress because they are admitting to their sins. They're admitting to their sins, and they're realizing that, yes, we as a people, sometimes us directly, and sometimes just our ancestors have done wrong. So they're admitting to themselves, they're most importantly admitting to the Lord. So they're having that coming to Jesus moment. And things haven't been easy for them either. Although we hear about a lot of the grace that the Lord has bestowed upon Israel, things have not been easy. They've gone through a lot of struggle, okay, a lot of poverty. We've talked about this. It seems like I'm having a deja vu moment every time I discuss this, but it's very true. Okay, so again, just remembering, right, where they came from. Literally deja vu. I feel like I've said this exact same thing. So from Nehemiah's words, we continue. In view of all this, we are making a binding agreement, putting it in writing. And our leaders, our Levites, and our priests are putting it in writing. And our leaders, our Levites, and our priests are affixing their seals to it. Okay, weird. I just felt like I've read all of this before, but this is something that they did, okay, when they're making a new commitment, when they're making a new covenant, an oath to the Lord, all right? They're putting it in writing, they're putting seals to it, they're planning, right, that this is going to be really set in stone, and this is how they're going to live, and they're really going to transform their modes of belief, not causing for any distractions or temptations, anything like that. It says here, those who sealed it were Nehemiah the governor, the son of Hakaliah, Meshullam, Abijah, Mijamin, the Levites. We have Jeshua, son of Azaniah, Biannual, the son of Henedad, and Henedad and Kadmiel. Alright. The leaders of the people, we have Ater, Hezekiah, Azzur, Malluk, Harim, and Baanah. So again, lots of people coming together, the leaders, the governor, of course, we have Nehemiah, and then lots of the top priests in the Levites, within the Levites. They're coming together, they're making this commitment with the people, for the people, with their authorities, right? It says, moreover, we will bring to the storerooms of the house of our God, to the priests, the first of our ground meal, of our grain offerings, the first fruit of all our trees, and of our new wine and olive oil. And we will bring a tithe of our crops to the Levites, for it is the Levites who collect the tithes in all the towns where we work. Alright? So now they are, even though, right, times are hard, they're still committing to this tithe, to zakat in Islam, okay? It's little giving, 1-2%. Sometimes, like, the first of everything is the best, but you know how when you get your paycheck for the week, you use the first of the money to go to the important things, right? The first of the money, and then the rest of the money you can kind of spend how you will as needed. But the first of that paycheck goes to things important. You're allocating your resources. And this is exactly what they're doing. They're giving back, right? They're making sure that everybody has enough to go around. It's very crucial. When creating a covenant with the Lord, you know, it's not necessarily that it's I shouldn't even say, because I should say it is obligatory to really give something of yourself, to make sure you stand firm and make sure that your mind, your body, and your soul knows of this commitment and is also with you in this commitment. Of course, it seems like your mind, body, and soul are always present all the time, but it really does bring the commitment and the oath into the physical realm. Okay, when you're giving up those first fruits, when you're giving up that important portion of resources, okay, it really does bring the oath into a firmness and into the physical world. And that's what we've been talking about with our gratitude, what we have for the physical, right? For the physical things that we experience. This is that next step. We talk about making little steps, taking little steps every day. This would be the next step into, after you're grateful, right? You're so grateful. Go ahead and give a little bit so everybody has enough to go around. That is also another reason for this season as well. We continue. These are the provincial leaders who settled in Jerusalem. Now some Israelites, priests, Levites, temple servants, and descendants of Solomon's servants lived in the towns of Judah, each on their own property in the various towns, while other people from both Judah and Benjamin lived in Jerusalem. From the descendants of Benjamin, Salu, son of Meshullam, the son of Joed, the son of Pedaiah, the son of Hakaliah, the son of Messiah, the son of Ithiel, son of Jeshua. That we have from the Levites, Mattaniah, son of Mika, son of Zabdi, the son of Asaph, the director who led in thanksgiving and prayer. So we are coming up on that time as well. Just again, the perfect timing of the Lord. This is line 1117, which I'm required to write no matter what it says. Anything ending with a 7 or having a 7 in it, that was my instruction. But anyways, yes, we have Thanksgiving in there. Long before our known holiday, we still had celebrations in regards to Thanksgiving, right? What is Thanksgiving? And then we have second among his associates, and Abda, son of Shammua, the son of Galal, the son of Jeduthun. As for the villages with their fields, some of the people of Judah lived in Kiriath Arba and its surrounding settlements, in Dibon and its settlements, in Jekabzeel and its villages, in Jeshua, in Molada, in Beth Pelet, in Hazar Shual, and Beersheba and its settlements. So what do we see, right? They made this oath, they made this commitment, and now everybody is coming together. It's coming together, the settlements are filling out, the villages are filling out, and they're really, I shouldn't say rebuilding, they're always rebuilding. I would say they're always rebuilding, but they're recollecting what they once had as a community, as a city. As you can see in this demonstration here, it's a lot of settlements and land, okay? Anyways, we have a big list of people that are coming in from all of the tribes, but of course I just included this short list as usual. But if you'd like to go look at the long list, it is in chapter 11 of Nehemiah. Alright, so they're settling in the towns. It says here, these were the priests and the Levites who returned with Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, and with Joshua. We have Salu, Amok, Hilkiah, and Jedediah. In the days of Joachim, these were the heads of the priestly families of Abijah's, Zikri, of Minimin's, and of Modiah's, Piltai. Okay. So I would say our chart that we created did help us a little bit with the names. Some of them are sounding familiar. We remember Joachim as one of the kings that had his name changed. Alright, so we kind of get where the time frame is, and we're recognizing some of these commonly used names as bizarre and as foreign as they sound here today. A lot of these names are not used anymore. Anywho, we have here, wrapping up, at the dedication of the wall of Jerusalem, the Levites were sought out from where they lived and were brought to Jerusalem to celebrate joyfully the dedication with songs of thanksgiving and with the music of cymbals, harps, and lyres. At the fountain gate they continued directly up the steps of the city of David on the ascent to the wall, and passed above the site of David's palace to the water gate on the east. So in the days of Zerubbabel and Nehemiah, all Israel contributed to the daily portions for the musicians and the gatekeepers. They also set aside the portion for the other Levites, and the Levites set aside a portion for the descendants of Aaron. All right, so wonderful. Another mention of thanksgiving here, okay? They rebuilt. It looks like the gates are finished. Judah and Israel is now looking better, more complete, more beautified, especially filling the roads and the narrow streetways with its people. And again, they are in Thanksgiving, they're in celebration, and they're also allocating to make sure everybody has enough to go around. If you give zakat or you give tithe, right, you're loaning the money to Allah, you're loaning the money to God, and with interest, okay, with interest. Doesn't matter how big or how small the tithe, okay, it is an obligatory or an obligation of us as believers to go ahead and loan money to Allah, but it is in that sense a loan, so it will come right back to you with interest, probably the highest interest rate that you'll ever see here today in this modern world. But it's very important for us to focus on, not only for the return, but just for the willingness and the ease that we would have in giving that up. It's a good thing to practice and a good thing to become normalized with and to get used to, I would say, as a believer. So let's pause here again, making sure everybody has enough to go around Thanksgiving, doing things for others, coming together as a community. While it is important, as we had mentioned, to focus on yourself and your household, this sometimes is a time to reach out to others as well, within your reach, okay, within your community, within your reach. So feel happy and good. We are in a time of celebration. Don't fall into the little annoyances that we had discussed in the last video. It's easy to do, I guarantee you, but keep the spirits high. Focus on what's beautiful, what's pure, what's joyful for you, okay? Don't get caught in the traps of the drama, I would say. This is also can be a dark time for drama and things like that. So just wash your hands, keep your hands clean, and celebrate the praises of the Lord. Have your coming to Jesus moment and your moments of thanksgiving and praise. Very important, as we could see from this reading. Excuse me. So thanks for listening, you guys. I appreciate you, and have a good rest of your day. I will talk to you again for another short final reading of Nehemiah tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.